Welcome back to TPS. There are a few people in the NFL with flawless public images like Joe Montana, Emmitt Smith, and Drew Brees. And there are some NFL greats who destroyed their images by committing terrible acts on and off the field. However, there are those ultimate NFL good guys who have that one particular incident that leaves a blemish on what's otherwise a pretty flawless public persona. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we present 10 NFL good guys that have incidents they want you to forget about. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 10. Frank Gore's alleged affair. This future Hall of Famer has remained an effective running back even in his mid-30s. At age 35, the five-time Pro Bowler moved into fourth all-time in career rushing yards during the 2018 season. In 2016, Gore won the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, handed annually to the player that best displays outstanding sportsmanship. He's simply a world-class person on and off the field, and you won't find any player or coach who has anything bad to say about Gore. However, sometime after, Gore reportedly proposed to girlfriend Drick Parrish. A pair of women claimed that they had relationships with Gore. Not much information was released, and details on the relationship with Parrish remained bleak. But the allegations and photos of Gore seemingly hanging out with other women didn't do much to help his public reputation. Number 9. Julian Edelman suspended for PEDS. The Patriots might be the most hated sports franchise in America, but even the biggest Patriots despisers will tell you that they have a hard time hating on slot receiver Julian Edelman, me included. Edelman is the ultimate feel-good underdog story. Only listed at 5'10", Edelman was considered by many to be too small to play in the NFL. He was a 7th-round pick in 2009, having played QB at Kent State. Edelman was used as a receiver, special teams returner, and even as a defensive back early in his career. But he broke out in 2013 and became Tom Brady's most trusted go-to receiver. He has even been a key piece on 3 Patriots Super Bowl championship teams. However, Edelman's good guy image was somewhat tarnished during the 2018 offseason, when the NFL suspended him for 4 games for violating their PED policy, performance-enhancing drugs. Edelman claimed that he did nothing wrong and he didn't know how it happened. He appealed the suspension, but to no avail. Of course, Edelman returned and was key in helping the Patriots win Super Bowl 53, where he was named MVP of the big game. But many fans and pundits called out Edelman for being a cheater, calling it a disgrace that he won MVP less than a year after failing a drug test. While promoting his 2019 documentary, 100% Julian Edelman, he still wasn't entirely clear about what went down, but it is clear that he served his suspension and he has moved on. Maybe the rest of us should. I don't know. Number 8. Tom Brady leaving Bridget Moynahan for Bundchen. Patriots QB Tom Brady dated blue blood star Bridget Moynahan for 2 years. After their breakup, Moynahan revealed that she was pregnant with their child. But around that same time, Brady began dating world-famous supermodel Bundchen. Brady reportedly told Bundchen about Moynahan's pregnancy while they were in the early stages of their relationship. Giselle wrote in her book that the news from her new man was quite shocking. Quote, "I felt my world had been turned upside down. Needless to say, that wasn't an easy time, but it was a time that brought about so much growth." End quote. Giselle and Tom got married in 2009 and have 2 children together. Moynahan gave birth to their son, John. Her and Brady have worked together to help raise the child. While some accuse Brady of leaving his pregnant girlfriend for a supermodel, it's obvious that wasn't actually the case. They were broken up, and Moynahan claims that the public scrutiny from paparazzi and the press made her life especially difficult during that time, which you can imagine since she was, pregnant and the news was talking about her, but we'll move on. Number 7. Jerry Rice spotted at massage parlor. Not only is Jerry Rice the greatest wide receiver of all time, but you can make a case that he's flat out the greatest football player ever. Rice holds practically every major wide receiver record while also winning 3 Super Bowls with the 49ers. He revolutionized the wideout position, and no matter how many times his 49ers dominated your team, you simply couldn't hate the guy. Rice has also done plenty of charity work both during and after his football career. The Jerry Rice 127 Foundation works towards providing financial aid for children and families in the Bay Area. But during the 1998 season, Rice made headlines when he was found by police at a massage parlor which was known for having prostitution activity. Rice said that the place was recommended to him by his teammates, and he was only in there for about 5 minutes. He claims that he was in the men's room when the police arrived. And it's important to point out that the police were only there to shut down the business for not having a proper permit to operate, not for prostitution. It had nothing to do with it at that point. and a spokesperson at the time said to AP News, while there had been activity at the parlor in the past, she couldn't say when the last time that actually happened was. But it had to be embarrassing for Rice from a public image standpoint. It didn't help that Rice was married at the time with 3 children, but the press, being the press, ran with headlines that weren't entirely accurate or misleading, so it still made him look bad. Number 6, Dan Marino and his mistress. Miami Dolphins legend Dan Marino has been happily married to his wife Claire since 1985, and the couple have 6 kids together. Marino was viewed as more than an NFL star and Pro Football Hall of Famer. He was also looked at as a true family man and one of the game's more generous philanthropists. He created the Dan Marino Foundation, which has reportedly sent $22 million towards research for autism. Also, the Dan Marino Outpatient Center is part of the Nicholas Children's Hospital in Miami. In January 2013, however, Marino revealed a shocking secret that he had kept for years. The secret? Marino had an affair and a child with CBS Sports production assistant Donna Savinter. She gave birth to their daughter in 2005. Both made a mutual agreement to keep it quiet, but the press eventually found out, and that probably spurred his announcement of it. Marino and his wife have stayed together, and the family has remained intact. The woman that he had an affair with later got married and even had another child. Number 5, Jared Allen, 3 DUI arrests. Allen was one of the NFL's most dominant pass rushers of the 2000s and 2010s. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, led the league in sacks during the 2007 and 2011 seasons. Allen finished with 136 career sacks and 31 forced fumbles. He also helped the Carolina Panthers reach Super Bowl 50, where they fell to the Denver Broncos. Allen works for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and made numerous trips overseas to thank the U.S. military for their services. He also formed Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors, a group that provides aid for wounded soldiers coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan. But during his football career, he was arrested on 3 separate occasions for driving under the influence. Once in 2002 and then twice in 2006. That last one got him sentenced to 48 hours in jail. Thankfully, Allen learned from it and was able to stay out of trouble throughout the remainder of his career. And personally, I feel like if he served his time, we should just move on. Number 4, Brett Favre's sexting scandal allegations. Favre is one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time and the winner of 3 MVP awards and 1 Super Bowl. He also had some epic mic'd up moments, always having fun with his teammates, opponents, and even the referees. Favre appeared in a handful of hilarious commercials and showed his comedic side when he made a cameo appearance in the film There's Something About Mary, which starred Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz. On top of that, he established the Favre for Hope Foundation and made donations to children in need in his home state of Mississippi. The man was a role model on and off the field, but Favre's near-flawless image took a hit in 2010. That year, the NFL looked into allegations of Favre sexting reporter Jen Sturger when he was playing for the New York Jets in 2008. The allegations suggested that Favre sent explicit images of himself while leaving behind supposedly inappropriate voicemails. Favre was handed a $50,000 fine for failing to cooperate with the NFL. Now, it's important to remember that Sturger mentioned in 2018 that she never even had met the guy. He just somehow, got her information. Allegedly. But wait, there's more. What we found out later on after the fine was handed out was that he was also accused of doing the same thing again by 2 massage therapists to another therapist who worked for the Jets part-time back in 2008. When they reported him, they were fired. They sued and their lawsuit was settled. So, I don't know. Take that however you will. But here's a personal note from me, just in general. If you don't know this already, but most of you do, I'm going to say it again. Don't send those kinds of photos to people without their consent. Just don't do it. Ask, hey, you want to? And then if they go, yeah, then you go ahead. But don't do that without their consent. Nobody wants that. Number 3, Peyton Manning, disturbing allegations at Tennessee. Peyton Manning is one of the most beloved and admired American athletes of all time. The 5-time league MVP and 2-time Super Bowl champion was also known for his terrific sense of humor and generous off-the-field acts. Manning starred in so many hilarious commercials, some of them with brother Eli Manning. Manning and his family worked immensely to help rebuild the city of New Orleans after it was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. He also started the Payback Foundation and donated to a children's hospital in Indianapolis that was later named after him. But in 2016, disturbing allegations came out that Manning had exposed himself to trainer Jamie Nawright while he was at the University of Tennessee in 1996. Okay, so let me break this down for you. She was working at the University of Tennessee as the Director of Health and Wellness, and she alleges that Manning, while she was giving him an exam because he injured his foot, he pulled his pants down and placed his full butt, rectum, testicles onto her face. She was upset, of course. She pushed him away, and he was angry, allegedly, according to her. She then immediately went and filed a report with the university about it. So what ended up happening is that the university looked at the report and they said, why don't you come back and then just change the report, she is saying this, allegedly, and have that report reflect that it wasn't Manning, it was this other guy that did it. But then she thought about it, allegedly, and said, well, no, that other guy is an African-American player and it wasn't him, and I don't want to do that to him. Like, that's not cool. So she and the university came to an agreement where she would receive $300,000 and she would have to leave her job. And she and Manning would sign confidentiality agreements to never talk about what happened. But a few years later, quite a few years later, Manning wrote a book and he mentioned her in it, not by name. And he said that the incident that occurred between them was that she witnessed him mooning another player who ran track or something. And she is sitting there wherever she is and she fears that this is going on. And she's like, well, first off, why is he talking about it? Because he signed a confidentiality agreement. And second off, that's not what happened. So she was able to then go back to the university and sue them and say, hey, this is defamation. You can't be talking about me because you signed this agreement. And also, while he was writing about her, he said that she was a vulgar person. And when people figured out it was her, it also allegedly started causing all kinds of insane, horrible issues in her life. She sued again, and they settled again. Manning didn't have any serious incidents on or off the field during his NFL career, but those allegations are impossible to ignore. Number 2, Larry Fitzgerald accused of domestic violence. Since he broke into the NFL in 2004, Arizona Cardinals legend and perennial Pro Bowl wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald has been a near-perfect person on and off the field. This is a man who has been full of class and professionalism. You don't see him complain. You don't see temper tantrums. You just see a humble human being who is always led by example, even though most of his career has gone to waste by terrible Cardinals teams. Sorry, Larry. But anyways, in 2012, Fitzgerald received the Arthur S. Arkish Humanitarian Award for his contributions to the community and charitable organizations. But back on December 31st, 2008, TMZ reported a shocking story regarding Fitzgerald. Angela Nazario, the mother of their young son, accused him of viciously assaulting her while she was holding their child. She actually tried to get away, she claims, and he was very upset about that and took chunks out of her hair and slammed her, allegedly, against their marble floor, her head. Yeah. Nazario filed an order of protection against Fitzgerald. He was not charged nor arrested for the incident, but the allegations shed some negativity over Fitzgerald's seemingly perfect image. And number 1, Adrian Peterson abusing his infant son. For the longest time, it was hard to not like Adrian Peterson, even if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. AP is the greatest running back of his era, with 7 Pro Bowl selections and the 2012 NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year awards. Peterson's play on the field, along with his many charitable acts, made him one of the NFL's most lovable players. But it all came crashing down after week 1 of the 2014 season. Peterson was indicted and charged with abusing his 4-year-old son. TMZ released disturbing images that showed the boy's wounds, which I'm not going to show here. It was later revealed that Peterson used a switch to beat his son. The Vikings deactivated Peterson and he didn't play in their last 15 games of the season. Peterson didn't receive any jail time, though he was fined and sentenced to 80 hours of community service. After that, Peterson went from one of the NFL's ultimate good guys to one of their biggest villains. He worked towards repairing that image, but it's simply impossible for us to forget about this dark moment from his otherwise illustrious career. And a note from me, it's possible that people can be more than one thing at once. They can be a good player, they can be generally charitable and nice, but it's also possible that they could have had something in their past that they did that's not so good. However you view that is how you view that. I'm not here to tell you that. What other NFL good guys have incidents they probably want to forget about? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.